Now I have to start. This isn't something that I normally do with regards to crappy situations. Generally, I just probably get upset about it, complain to a manager, and then that's just it. But I have to say, this is probably one of my worst travel experiences to date. So I'll start. In January, my wife and I got an opportunity to go to Mexico. We go to Mexico. On our way back from Mexico, we get a call or a text or a notification rather from Frontier saying that our travel plans were canceled. And ultimately, we dealt with that situation by getting a new flight in a hotel room, which really wasn't as satisfactory as our from a from a safety perspective, in addition to just what we wanted to do. But we dealt with it, and moved on. So an opportunity came up for me to go to a drone competition, which was the Team Drone Adventures FPV Fest 2022. And so we leveraged the voucher that we got from Frontier to fly out here. My wife, very savvy, finding travel arrangements, was able to find me a trip, and was able to get everything booked. And we used some of the money that we got as a voucher from Frontier from our horrible experience in January. So go to the trip, goes off without a hitch. On the way back, I'm in the Raleigh-Durham airport, and I get a notification saying that my flight was going to be, delayed. So I'm like, okay, fine, those things happen. But I had a connection from Las Vegas. To start, my flight home was a connecting flight from Raleigh-Durham to Las Vegas. Yes, I know that passes Denver. And then from Las Vegas to Denver. So I said, that's fine. It'll be overnight. I can sleep. It'll be great. So get to Raleigh. They say, hey, there's a delay on your flight by an hour. I go to the gate and I go to the ticket counter person and I say, is this going to affect my connection? He said, no, it shouldn't. Now, as time is getting closer and closer to being an hour plus delayed from leaving where we needed to leave, I asked the gate person again and I said, do you think this is going to be, a trip that I can make? Am I going to make my connection? He looked and he said, yeah, I think so, but if not, we can get you set up on a flight leaving out of Raleigh at, something like 6 or 7 in the morning, meaning that I would have to stay overnight in the airport in the terminal, Terminal D, which isn't that big if you've been to Raleigh-Durham Airport, and stay there for a few hours or for several hours. At this present time, it's close to 9:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I would have to stay until at least 6 a.m. That next morning in the terminal in order to fly out, but I would fly out on Monday. I said, what are the other options? He says, well, it could be a later flight, but ultimately, the other option would be getting you home to Denver from Raleigh in the afternoon. And I said, it's not going to work. I've got work, I've got 4 kids, wife at home. It's not going to work for me. So he says, well, you could take a chance flying to Las Vegas and then work it from there. So we fly to Las Vegas. I had a great seat. I was sitting in 2A, which I thought was really good. But ultimately, they have some kind of door in the front of the plane that they needed to close. The flight attendants had to close and open, and it was kind of a slam sound. And so none of us sitting in the front few rows were able to get very much sleep. And plus, there was a super bright LED that they needed to access every time, they needed to do something. So oftentimes, you didn't get very much sleep there because it just wasn't comfortable. So we land in Las Vegas well beyond the time that I needed to be there to make my connection flight. And so I go to, as I'm deplaning, I go to the desk and say, hey, I'm on this Denver flight. I know it's delayed. What do I need to do? And he says, oh, looking here, it looks like you're going to need to go back to the ticket office, get your luggage, go to the ticket office, and we can get you rebooked. So, I don't travel that often, and I'm sure, tons of people would say, well, no, don't do this or ask for this. Well, at the time, I thought I was doing what I was told because that's what the gate attendant told me to do. Now, mind you, this wasn't someone on the Skyway. This was someone, in a Frontier uniform behind the desk instructing me with some seeming level of authority that I needed to go back to the ticket office, capture my luggage, and get rebooked. So my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'll at least be able to leave on Monday. I should be good. I can take care of what I had to. I brought my work computer, and I'm like, okay, worst come to worst, I can at least get the work done that I need to in order to, maintain, the work that I need to do for work. So I get all the way to the ticket office, My luggage isn't there. I get to the ticket office, and as I'm getting there, there's an employee who sees me coming, and there's several employees. Now, mind you, at this time, it's around 1:20 in the morning on Sunday, 1:20 in the morning on Monday. And they're playing games about who wants to help. Oh, this person can help. Oh, I can help. No, she can help. Somebody was coming back from break in like kind of house shoes, and she said, "Oh, she can help you." And ultimately, I just politely asked. I said, "Hey, look, all games aside, I really need some assistance. I need to get a trip home." And so I end up getting a chance to talk to a supervisor, and I'm like, I'm really kind of not really happy with my experience right now because I'm getting, pulled different directions on who's going to be able to help me, and it seems to be a joke that I need some assistance getting home. So when I get to the gate, the lady says, "Well, it looks like, there's not going to be a flight until tomorrow. You're going to have to stay here. We can get you a hotel. And it looks like we can do a connecting flight through another airlines, and it's going to be at 10 a.m. and you'll arrive, actually it's a connecting flight leaving at 10 a.m., going to San Jose, going back to Denver, getting there in the afternoon." I'm like, obviously this is not going to work for me. I need to be home. That's the plan. And so we call my wife, we do go back and forth, and my wife was able to find a flight that the supervisor at Frontier couldn't find. And ultimately, it was an out-of-pocket expense for us to be able to book this ticket that they couldn't get connected with. They said they have a booking limit of $400, and the ticket ended up being $345. So I'm not necessarily sure how they weren't able to find that ticket, as their limit was $400, and this ticket, everything included out the door was $345. So apparently, somewhere along the lines, $345 is not less than $400 in the eyes of some folks. But was able to get into the hotel room that I'm filming from right now. And as I'm getting set up, I get an email from Frontier telling me that the connecting flight that I was supposed to be already on from Las Vegas to Denver was going to be delayed until 2:30 in the a.m. By this time, it wasn't even 2:30. So I talked to the lady. I said, "Hey, I just got this notification. It looks like the plane that I'm supposed to be on is still here. I want to get on it." And so she says, "Oh, but TSA is closed. Security is closed, so you're not able to get back on." So my luggage is making its way right now back to Denver while I followed the instructions of the gate attendant at Frontier, went to the ticket office as I was supposed to, and apparently I should have stayed where I was because the information that he gave me wasn't correct, and now I'm stuck in Las Vegas for the day and trying to figure out how I'm going to manage work when all I needed to do was simply just go to the gate for the flight that I was supposed to be on because it didn't even leave yet. So all that to say is this has been a really bad travel experience. I can't say that I'd fly Frontier again. The whole situation appeared to be a lot of miscommunication, from the gate attendant telling me to go back to the ticket office and leaving the security area. The supervisor doing the best that she possibly can to find a flight, but didn't find the flight that my wife could find on a regular website that she couldn't find on her internal system. My luggage actually getting on the flight that I was supposed to be on that was ultimately delayed, but had I not been told to leave the area, I would have been able to be on that flight to be able to make it home. So take this as a little bit of some travel information. I'm sure someone in the comment section will have a better experience or have more knowledge on how to be able to handle a situation. But travel beware, and just all I can say is, stick to your guns, be patient, and don't always listen to the first thing that was telling you from someone that seems to be an authority, because I'd be on a flight right now had I not listened to the gate person that told me to go back to the ticketing office when I really didn't need to. So if that helps anybody, great. I appreciate you watching. I'm sure there's going to be someone in the comments section telling me how wrong I was and doing things the way they did, but I appreciate you watching. Normally I do vlogs on FPV, but this is what the vlog is for today. Appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe. Fly safe. Thanks.
All right, YouTube, here's an update for you. You may be wondering, what the hell are you doing? Dad, outnumbered, why are you walking in the streets in Las Vegas? Well, the hotel that Frontier set me up with wasn't even for a full day. So the hotel called and put me out. So I had to find my own hotel to go along with this wonderful trip. The trip itself was good. I'll never fly Frontier again. So I just shared this with you. So if you're thinking of potentially taking a trip with Frontier, or they've got some sort of discounted rate on tickets, maybe pass. Unless you want to walk in Las Vegas with all your bags, because supposedly they hooked you up and took care of you for the night. Please like and subscribe. Maybe I'll make it home tomorrow. Take care.